Alright, so here we are. Here's this lathe. It's an Atlas lathe. Let's see if I can scoot back here. From end to end, it's 45 inches long, all the way from the right side of the tailstock to the headstock. It works. It's the first time I fired it up in over 20 years at least, but you can see the pulleys there. You can adjust the speeds on it. It's old school. I mean, it's 1966, I think, is the year. Original motor. Shut it off here. Switch is a little sticky. It's old. You can see here's the switch. That's on it now, which is easily replaced. The original switch to turn it on and off is right here, which I would probably try to retrofit it back to that if you can. I'm sure it's not that hard to do. But to change gears in this thing, you cycle this handle here and it loosens up all the belts for you. So you can switch to whatever speed you want. You got a choice of 3 different speeds right there. And also it's got back gears in it, which inside here, if you look, there's this little pin right here. You disengage this pin, and then in the back there's a gear back in here that you cycle this handle right here, and it engages that gear, which will make it run real slow. It's a little sticky right now, but work it a little bit, put a little grease or a little oil in there and it'll loosen up. And this reapplies the tension back on the belt. The lead screw and everything works. It's got an auto feeder on it. See, it's moving there. It doesn't have an automatic cross slide, so you got to turn it manually in the cross slide direction. You see the handles. I bought it like this. They're broke off. You can get these handles, or you can even make handles. I've seen guys make them. You can see he tried to make something here. The compound rest, come on now, there. The compound rest, you can turn this. These bolts here, you loosen them up, and this thing will turn however you want. And the tool post is old school. This is a right turn tool in here, which you use for like turning the outside diameter down. I also have a left turn here. There's oil all over this stuff. It's been stored in this oily bag for years, you can see. But here's a left turn tool, and I think this is supposed to be a turning tool or a thread cutting tool. I don't know. It's pretty archaic. It's got a live center. You can see here it's got a live center that floats real nice. That'll go in your tailstock back here. He had it set up for cutting wood in it, believe it or not. This is a tip for cutting wood. And then he also has this little thing here, which goes into a little sleeve-like thing, like that, which you'd put in the chuck. And you can spindle up a piece of wood to turn a spindle down in there, like a stair spindle. Comes with this little chuck here. It's got a spare chuck. Doesn't have the mandrel in it. Whoops. Doesn't have the mandrel in it yet. But here's the chuck key, even for this little chuck right here. It comes with a faceplate, which is actually made for doing tapers. You can bolt a piece of steel onto this plate too, and swing a much larger diameter piece of material than what that chuck holds. It's a 3-jaw, if I didn't mention that. I do have a 4-jaw chuck here too. I believe this 4-jaw chuck might fit my other lathe. I want to double check. I'd hate to get rid of this and kick myself for getting rid of it. So I got to call and see if that indeed fits my other lathe. I got the jaws for it. They're in this box down here, still all covered in oil. You see all these little pieces here. These are all pieces of tool steel. They're not carbide like we use, normally. These are hand ground. Which you can buy the stuff at the machine supply, and they're cheap, and you grind your own tools. Comes with a couple of center drills in there. I have no idea what these little gadgets are. I'm sure we could figure it out. And then these are parts actually for the 3-jaw, which I think this actually might be part of the other chuck, the 4-jaw, excuse me. Also, which is kind of cool, I found this. I got the original book that came with this thing. Atlas Press Company. This was made actually in Kalamazoo, right there, June of 1966. It's the original book. And then inside here, the old timer that I bought it from, he got a parts list in February of 1980. I want to say I bought this. God, I was young, dude, when I bought this. I was probably, I don't know, I wasn't driving yet. I know that for sure. 14 maybe when I bought this, and I've had it all this time. Looking at the condition of it, you see it's a little dingy. I remember I covered this thing with anti-rust compound years ago, but this will all come right off. It's just oil that's on there, so I mean it comes up real clean. It's not rusty. It stayed underneath my dad's steps for years, dude. It stayed in the basement down there underneath the steps where it was good and dry. It never flooded or anything under there. It's a good piece, man. It's going to be great for out in the garage, you know. It's got the lock on it, and nice and smooth. Everything's good. It's not seized up. It's got a release back here somewhere. Oh, right here. You got to release it here and slide it. I don't have the chuck key for the 3-jaw chuck, but what it takes is just a regular 1/4-inch drive ratchet. Will fit right in there. Anyway, oh, you can also change the direction of the carriage too, and which way it power feeds. Right now it's set up to power feed normal toward the chuck. You can go in this box underneath down here and flip it, and you can feed in the opposite direction for whatever reason you need to feed away from the chuck. But I'm looking to get, you know, like I said to you, $250 minus that 4-jaw. If I sell it with that 4-jaw chuck, I got to get $300, dude. You got the 4-jaw. Oh, this plate here. This plate here, the guy made to retrofit this 4-jaw to this lathe. This unscrews off of here. There's this little index pin right here. You push it in, and this will screw off this chuck. And then what you do is you'd screw this plate on, okay, which he made. It's all TIG welded. Did a pretty nice job. The old timer that had this before. And this 4-jaw, you have to set it up to bolt to this. But you see there's no bolt holes at all in here yet. You have to index it in and bolt this to this. That's what these holes back down in here would be for. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the faceplate, this, you can see it's threaded as well. But this will not fit it. You'd have to make an adapter, which isn't too hard to do, to adapt this to go on here, you know. And you also use this for tapering. There's I don't have this part, but it's a leg that comes off and then it goes over to your part, and you'd use it for tapering. But I mean, they're easy enough to make or even buy. I'm sure you can still buy them. So anyway, that's it. You can see, here's the tag here, Atlas quality. Kalamazoo, Michigan, man. I think actually Clausing, they were part of Clausing Corporation one time. It said in the book right here. Yeah, right there, Clausing Service Center. You might even be able to call them. They may still be in business. But here's another look at the cool old sprockets. It's got really some cool old styling in it. I mean, it's a really cool old setup. Like I say, the only reason why I want to get rid of it is because I have that other lathe that's a little bit bigger. And I want to free up, this is my workbench in the garage here. I want to free this up so I can actually use my workbench. But, alright, man. Let me know what you think.